Frontline workers have been at the forefront in the fight against COVID-19 for over 5 months now, and they are becoming casualties of the war themselves, and the fatigue setting in for them and their families. The National Healthcare Professionals Association Chairperson, Donald Gumede, is joining us to talk to us now. He, of course, has also been directly impacted by this. Dr. Gumede, we're talking to you in your hospital bed today because you yourself have been caught by this virus. What is your view on pandemic fatigue setting in, particularly amongst health professionals? What's driving it, and how can we avoid it?
Yeah, first and foremost, Prati, I'm very grateful to God to allow me to be alive again. Let me put it that way bluntly. Because I was in coma for a very long time due to this COVID and its treatment. And I just woken up, like you said, I'm still in bed in hospital. You know what hurts me is because our government sends us as the forefront soldiers with our healthcare boots with no ammunition. You know, it's sad, and we have got an oath to adhere to that we cannot leave patients because they've got disease. And most of the nurses and doctors, they end up contracting this disease because there's no PPEs. And we were told that there are PPEs, but there are no PPEs. So then we have so many healthcare workers dying. Doctors are dying like flies. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, if we want to fight this pandemic effectively, the government must be serious. You must protect your soldiers. You don't send your soldiers without bulletproof.
Does it become an ethical issue for the doctors? Because one would say you've got more information about the virus than the average person at home, and one gets surprised. How do doctors get infected? Is it because doctors find themselves having to make an ethical decision to save a life, even, as you're saying, without the availability of proper PPE?
You know, being a healthcare worker is a calling, and I always say that to many people. You know, you remember the advent of HIV. People were scared of HIV people or they suspect that you have got HIV. I mean, if we withdraw as healthcare workers, who's going to treat those people? Let's be honest. The COVID-19. I mean, those people, they need treatment. So if we were to say because we don't have PPEs, then we're not going to treat them, who's going to treat them? Because we are the experts who are supposed to treat them. Yeah. But I'm saying our government is letting us down in the sense that we know of corruption, you know, in the PPE industry, which is supposed to protect us. Yeah. And then we heard that some PPEs were dumped in some river. So PPEs are more important getting PPEs than healthcare workers. Yeah. That can't be right.
We heard also DENOSA giving their report on the progress of the pandemic and how it's affecting the health system. They're saying there was PPE in storage, yet nurses were being told to wash disposable PPE that should be thrown away. Saying, no, you can reuse it. And the professionals were advising that.
But that's madness. I mean, and when you say, I'm not going to see the patient, then they say insubordination, you must be fired immediately with immediate effect. I mean, that's wrong. So meaning, you ask another question which is critical. We don't only expose ourselves, we expose our families as well. Because we have to go back home. So every day you are exposing yourself, you risk a risk of dying like I should have died. And then your family also could have died. There's a professor, and the wife passed away, and the professor is in ICU. It's not a nice thing. I've been there. I'm talking from experience. I've been there. I've been tubed. I've been ventilated. It's a horrible thing that you can ever go through. I would not wish it on anybody, you know. So, but the issue or the fact of the matter is our government must protect the healthcare workers if they want to bring or flatten this curve. Because if we don't do that, you are the front soldiers, as we call them. They will be there, and then who's going to treat the sick?
Talk about the psychological impact then that you and your colleagues are feeling at this particular time with losing lives because of this virus, but also losing your colleagues at the same time, or even having to treat some of your colleagues because they've also contracted the virus.
It is very painful. I mean, when I woke up from coma and then they say this one is dead, this one is dead, this one, I'm like, really? And how possible does the government not take note to say, no, it's high time we protect our healthcare workers? I mean, that's very bad. Let's be honest. We are supposed to be protected so that we can deal with the pandemic effectively. And it's not a story. Before I went into coma, we have heard that people were overpricing PPEs and whatever. But why would you do that? Why would you run for profit against lives or saving lives?
We want to save our doctors. Mitigation strategies is what we are talking about. How do we mitigate against our doctors contracting the virus? Government, PPEs, what else can we do?
You know, the basic principle, like we're saying, as we have an oath ourselves, give us PPEs which are proper so that we can treat the patient and we're not exposed to it. Because if we get exposed, then you are killing the whole system, like I'm explaining. I mean, look at it this way. Those doctors who have died, those nurses who have died, and this is a fact. Some of the doctors, I know them personally, who died, who were dedicated healthcare cadres, who it means they donated their lives to save other people's lives. I mean, that's painful, you know. And then the government sits at the shores and says, no, that's fine, you can die.
Dr. Gumede, we wish you a speedy recovery and we want to talk to you soon again here in our studios. And thank you for giving us this time to share your story, but also to raise that alarm and to make the call clear that we need to arm our healthcare professionals with the correct PPEs as they are at the forefront of fighting this pandemic. Thank you for your time tonight.